par for the list.
That does not nuts.
On episode 101. Boy, that's a mouthful.
101.
And like we talked about last week on 100, our big 100.
Big 100.
We said we're going to do some new stuff, and one of the new stuff is Spotlight, where we talk about a certain wrestler.
Not the
or
PWI
team,
Spotlight.
or whatever we want to talk about. It could be a woman, could be a team, could be an organization.
Could be an organization.
We do not know. Something's going to be Spotlight, and like we said, we're going to let Rick Rude, who won our Macho Madness tournament, be our first official Spotlight this week.
So to Spotlight Rick Rude, we were going to give you his background. If you ever wanted to know who is Rick Rude, what is Rick Rude's all about, what does he do, who is he married to, all that stuff, we're going to give it to you, and we're going to give it to you right now. Yes. His birth name was Richard Irwin Roode, R-O-O-D.
Yeah.
His birth date was December the 7th, 1958. He was born in St. Peter, Minnesota.
A lot of wrestlers like him and Perfect were born in Minnesota.
That's very true. I think one half of Action Smash went to school with them. Yes, Barry Darso. He died April the 20th, 1999 at the age of 40 due to heart failure in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? He was married to Michelle Rude, married her in 1982, and his death came in 99, and he stayed with her the entire time. And he had 3 children.
Yes, in his professional wrestling career, he went by the ring names Rick Rude, Ricky Rude, and the WCW Phantom.
Yes.
He was 6 foot 3 inches tall. He weighed 252 pounds, and he was built from Robbinsdale, Minnesota. And he was trained by Eddie Sharkey.
Yes.
He debuted in 1982 and retired in 1994.
So really not that long.
Not for a career, no.
Not for a career that he had. You know,
No.
He had a great career. In his early career, 1982 to 84, he was in Vancouver's NWA All-Star Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Continental Wrestling Association, National Wrestling Alliance, Jim Crockett Promotions. In Championship Wrestling from Florida in 84 to 85, he was managed by Percy Pringle. I was going to let you have that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, he defeated Pez Watley, can't even say it right, for the NWA Florida Southern Heavyweight Championship and lost it to Brian Blair, who captured the championship. Again from Mike Graham.
Yes.
Lost it to Wahoo McDaniel. Teaming with Jesse Barr, he won the NWA Florida U.S. Tag Team Championships and lost the tag titles to Billy Jack Haynes, or Billy Jerk Haynes.
Yeah, Billy Jerk.
And Wahoo McDaniel.
He jumped to WCCW, World Class Championship Wrestling, in 1985 to 1986. When he was in there, he jumped along with Percy Pringle. He captured the NWA American Heavyweight Championship. I'll get right in a minute. I'm seeing the end. You've seen the end already. After losing the title to Chris Adams, he fired Pringle and briefly replaced him with his sister Raven.
Not the wrestler.
The wrestler, no. He formed a short-lived tag team with the Dingo Warrior.
A.K.A.
The Ultimate Warrior.
There you go. Jim Crockett Promotions, were you taking that
I
one?
was going to take that one.
Okay,
yes.
take that one.
He then
So
moved
that
on
one's
to
gonna be long
Jim Crockett Promotions from 1986 to 1987. Rude returned to Jim Crockett Promotions and joined Manny Fernandez and his manager Paul Jones. Rude and Fernandez won the NWA World Tag Team Championships in the Rock Road Express. They began a feud that ended only when Rude left the promotion.
And he left to bigger and better things with the WWF. From 87 to 1990, he made his WWF debut as the newest addition to the Bobby Heenan family. His first feud was with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, who Heenan had dropped after Rude joined, before starting one of his most famous feuds with Jake the Snake Roberts. After his exact victories, he would kiss a woman. In one storyline, he tried to get Roberts' real-life wife, Cheryl, to comply. After Mrs. Roberts rejected him and revealed who she was there to see, Rude got angry and grabbed her wrist, berating her on the microphone. And when Jake ran from the dressing room to make the save, Rude came to the ring with a picture of Cheryl stenciled on the front of the tights right there. A furious Roberts charged the ring, stripped Rude. Rude continued to wear a second pair of tights. In a match against JYD at SummerSlam. During the match, Rude climbed the top turnbuckle. While up there, pulled down his tights to reveal a second with Cheryl Roberts printed on them, and he was attacked by Roberts. Then it caused JYD to be DQ'd, giving Rude the win, and Rude's feud with Roberts came to a conclusion finally when Roberts pinned Rude following a DDT during the 1988 Survivor Series. Rude's next big feud was, of course, with the Ultimate Warrior. Began in 1989 Royal Rumble. With help from Heenan, Rude won the Intercontinental Championship from Warrior at WrestleMania 5 before dropping it back to Warrior SummerSlam 1989 due to interference from Roddy Piper. Rude then, of course, went to feud with Piper before resuming his conflict with Warrior after he won the World Heavyweight Championship. The two battled in a steel cage at SummerSlam 1990. Rude failed to win the title and departed from the WWF in October of 1990.
Get some more on that
Swig
one.
a drink.
A World Championship Wrestling, 1991 to 1994. He returned under the mask as the WCW Phantom at Halloween Havoc 1991. Unmasking himself later that night, he led the Dangerous Alliance. Rude defeated Sting for the WCW United States Championship. Engaged in a number of high-profile feuds, including one with Ricky Steamboat. Rude and Medusa left the Dangerous Alliance and feuded with Nikita Koloff. Rude suffered a legitimate neck injury and was forced to forfeit the United States Championship. Rude returned along in April of '93 and tried to reclaim the title from Dustin Rhodes. Rude switched his sights to the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Rude defeated Flair for the title at Fall Brawl '93. WCW then lost the rights to continue use of the NWA World Heavyweight Title Championship. They created their own WCW International World Heavyweight Championship, which Rude lost to Hiroshi Haas March of '94. Rude regained the title just 8 days later. He dropped the title to Sting at Spring Stampede of '94. Rude then pinned Sting on May 1st to become a 3-time champion. Rude, however, injured his back during the match. Unable to wrestle, he was stripped of the title and retired a short time thereafter.
What do you think would have become of Rude if he would not have had to retire right there? He would have been a main event player for a long time. Then he went on to Extreme Championship Wrestling in 1987. He joined ECW as a masked man who harassed Shane Douglas. He eventually unmasked and became a color commentator for later aligning himself for a short time with Shane Douglas and his Triple Threat stable. Heatwave 1997, he made a one-off return to the ring in a 6-man tag match where he partnered with ECW mainstays Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman to face Jerry Lawler and ECW stars RVD and Sabu. During the ECW versus USWA/WWF, Rude helped Lawler win matches against Dreamer and the Sandman.
He returned to the WWF in 1997. Rude returned to the WWF as an insurance policy of the DX stable. Rude never wrestled but stayed ringside during the group's matches. He once again left WWF after the Montreal Screwjob at Survivor Series.
His return to WCW from 97 to 99, Rude appeared on both WWF's Raw's War and WCW's Monday Nitro on November the 17th, 1997. Rude also appeared on ECW's Hardcore TV during that same weekend, November the 14th to the 16th, as the shows were syndicated differently depending on the market. In WCW, Rude became a member of the NWO, managing his friend Kurt Hennig. Rude became the first wrestler to be a part of both DX and the NWO. Hennig, it's pretty close, actually.
It is pretty close.
Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude joined the NWO Wolfpack. Rude and Hennig later joining NWO Hollywood by turning on Conan. And by late 1998, both Rude and Hennig were off WCW TV due to injuries, and Rude left the company in early 1999. And then he passed away shortly thereafter.
In wrestling, he had finishing maneuvers. He had the DDT from '84 to '87. Uses a signature thereafter. Overhead gut wrench backbreaker. Backbreaker rack.
That's weird.
I know, from '87 to '88. The Rude Awakening, which was delayed hangman's neck breaker with the theatrics. From '88 to '97. Right.
Signature moves was the belly-to-back suplex, the camel clutch, the delayed backbreaker, the diving fist drop, the diving knee drop, the figure 4 leg lock, the pointed elbow drop, the sleeper hold, the spike pile driver.
And his managers were Jimmy Hart, Bobby Heenan, Paul Lee Dangerously, Medusa, Paul Jones, Percy Pringle III, Raven, which was his sister.
Wrestlers he managed was Kurt Hennig and the D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Chyna.
Nicknames, he went by the Ravishing One and Ravishing Rick Rude.
Championships and accomplishments. Championship wrestling from Florida. He was the NWA Southern Heavyweight Champion, Florida versions 2 times. The NWA United States Tag Team Champion, Florida version 1 time with Jesse Barr. Continental Wrestling Association, the NWA/AWA Southern Heavyweight one time, the NWA/AWA Southern Tag Team one time with King Kong Bundy. Jim Crockett Promotions /WCW, he was the NWA World Tag Team Champion, the Mid-Atlantic version one time with Manny Fernandez, the WCW International World Heavyweight Champion 3 times, and the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship 1 time.
And the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, he was the most hated wrestler of the year in 1992. And PWI ranking, him number 4, yes, of the 500 in 1992. He was ranked number 57 of the PWI years in 2003. He was a World Class Championship Wrestling / World Class Wrestling Association's that's a mouthful. NWA American Heavyweight Champion 1 time, a WCWA Television Champion 1 time, and a WCWA World Heavyweight Champion 1 time. He was the World Wrestling Federation. He was the WWF Intercontinental Champion 1 time. He won 1 Slammy. He was the winner of the Jesse the Body Award in 1987.
Who has the best body?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's just Jesse giving out awards.
That's weird.
And on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he was a 5-star match in 1992 and the best heel of 1992.
Very nice. So that is how it will work. That's how we will do the spotlight. We will pick a tag team. We'll pick a female. We'll pick a singles wrestler. We'll pick a promotion. Like you said,
Yeah.
anything and everything. You just never know what we're going to do, and that's going to be our new thing that we might do every now and then.
Yes, it's not a weekly thing, no.
No.
It's like everything else that comes and goes.
Part 4 is always random.
Yes.
Next, we're going to have the top 15 predictions on what WWE will look like in 2020. Number 5, WWE will experience another boom.
They will.
The 5 to 13-year-old demographic that John Cena drew in the WWE since 2006 have all gotten older, and thus the product has gotten less PG. There are still some hints of Saturday morning cartoon in every episode of Raw, but not nearly as much as in the previous years. Wrestling will experience another boom as a result of the product being more adult-oriented, as well as former fans reaching the most coveted age demographics in the television rating system. The idea of 18 to 35-year-olds spreading the word of wrestling, as well as new talent putting on great matches, will certainly lead to another spike in ratings for the WWE. So your bold prediction is by 2020, WWE's Monday Night Raw will beat Monday Night Football in the ratings for at least half of the season, and NXT will be even higher.
I can live with that. I can see that too.
Can definitely live with that.
What we got now, definitely. And now up next, we're going to talk about the 15 biggest matches WWE should have booked in 1990 but didn't. Ultimate Warrior versus Earthquake.
This match may be a head scratcher to some, considering that it's unlikely to have been anything close to a 5-star classic.
Of course.
Look at there, absolutely. But let's see. But it should have been booked in 1990 for the betterment of the company. In a booking strategy that will be discussed in more detail later, SummerSlam often features a main event program between the top heel and top face coming out of WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar and John Cena in 2014 is a recent example. Earthquake was the company's top heel leaving WrestleMania 6, and the Ultimate Warrior supplanted Hogan as the top babyface when he captured the WWF Championship at the same event. If the company wanted to start Warrior's reign off strongly, then Earthquake should have challenged Warrior as the headliner of SummerSlam 1990. He needed a hot heel, and nobody was hotter at the time than the big man. Instead, Warrior was put to a recycled feud with Rick Rude, what we were just talking about. And it was the Hulkster who would benefit from facing Earthquake. Had Warrior been paired with Quake, business for WWE might have been better in the aftermath of WrestleMania 6. Hogan should have stayed out of the spotlight longer than he did and allowed Warrior the chance to shine without looking over his shoulder. But the company rushed Hogan back.
Well, that sounds weird.
Right. But the company rushed Hogan back and eventually put him over Earthquake, while Warrior would head into the fall facing upper mid-card heels like Mr. Perfect and Demolition. None were credible threats to the title.
It's true.
Well, damn.
And I mean, yeah.
I mean, it would have been a 5-star match, but it would have been interesting. I think it would have worked.
Because who did Earthquake squash when he come into the company? Warrior.
Really?
Yeah, they had him sitting away, not like the plant seat on the front row.
He was up.
He was up in the stands, and they
wow.
picked out Dino Bravo, picked him out, which they were in cahoots.
Right.
And he doing the push-ups, and he squished him.
Huh. So you can revisit that.
No, you can't revisit that. Then put that on the network yet.
No, I'm saying they could
Oh,
revisit
yes.
that during the feud. They could have brought that up.
Yes.
Showing the Earthquake could easily squish him.
Yes. And also, lead him to SummerSlam, have him squish him.
Have him squish him. Squish him.
But no, Hogan, they're right. That's all I said. Russian John Cena back and everything.
Right.
But let's talk about storytelling. Let's get our book out. Dust off the book here, folks.
There's the book.
There's our book right there. Story time. And
Still amazes me.
the ending that screwed great WWE storylines. And what should have happened? Chapter 6. The Summer of Punk.
Summer of Punk. What happened was CM Punk dropped his iconic pipe bomb promo in 2011.
Wow, 2011 we did that?
And had never been hotter. Overnight, he became a mainstream media sensation as outlets such as GQ and ESPN quoted his promo following a huge championship win over Cena at Money in the Bank. The Summer of Punk began, and WWE looked to have the edgiest prospect on their hands since Stone Cold Steve Austin in the late 90s. But how it ended?
Yes.
The angle quickly went into another direction as Punk was redirected away from Cena and Vince McMahon and moved towards Triple H, who wasted no time in burying Punk's stinky, fat...
Skinny.
Oh, skinny. I was like, stinky, what? Skinny, fat butt.
Yes.
Skinny fat. How does that work? Skinny fat?
I don't know.
I've never heard of skinny fat. Maybe that's a new thing. In his own series of promos, Kevin Nash was awkwardly inserted into the proceedings, including a here goes the quad! Nonsensical angle in which Nash somehow sent himself a text message. I don't remember that.
I do kind of remember that text message thing.
The Summer of Punk inexplicably morphed into a Nash Triple H feud, while Punk entered a convoluted mess of feuds involving Del Rio, R-Truth, and The Miz.
Wow, that is pretty bad. No wonder it died.
Yeah, because didn't Nash and Punk do like a ladder match? Or no, that was that was Triple H and Nash did a ladder match.
Yes.
Weird stuff.
Yeah.
How it should have ended. Punk's act in the summer of 2011 was setting social media on fire. That's really before social media became big for WWE, though.
Yeah.
So they didn't really care.
No.
Creative should have continued to push Punk as the free agent with the WWE Championship, which had never been done before.
Exactly.
There was something fresh and unpredictable about watching Punk appear wherever he wanted at Comic-Cons and indie shows with a belt until that lasted like a week.
It did.
He went and pushed Gregory Iron to the moon and back.
Yes.
And then he came back.
Yeah.
As WWE brass scrambled to get him back under contract. Considering that the bulk of Punk's pipe bomb resentment was aimed at Cena as the plastic hero and the hand-picked champion, it would have made sense to have Punk antagonize McMahon and the WWE all summer long, building to a huge rematch with Cena at SummerSlam or Survivor Series that same year. Just imagine the banter between Punk Smarks and the Cena Marks for that one.
It's been good.
It would have
Yeah.
absolutely made sense. I mean, why wouldn't it have been Punk and Cena? Which I guess they eventually did more, didn't they?
They did.
But yeah, Punk and Triple H.
Because they had a tournament. Ray won it, and then Cena won it right back from Ray that night at the main event. Like, Ray won at the beginning of the show. I don't know.
Isn't that weird?
Same show, yeah. And then he had the belt, and Punk had the belt, and they ended up having both belts. And, yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, you're right. They should have let Punk go to different shows. You know, well, the TNS and all that, but indie shows and show
Right.
my belt and everything.
Which I think now Triple H has relationships with all these indie shows. I think now that would happen if the storyline happened nowadays. I think that it would really benefit.
Keep claiming he's the true champion. Don't matter. They can crown him the champion. He's the true champion.
And he could go to Evolve and actually wrestle a match. He could go to Progress and Revolution, or whatever it's called, Revolution Pro, and he can go in the wrestle matches there because they have a relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? And that would actually look good. I think they could work something like that. It'd be cool if they did something like that with Kevin Owens or something. He would be that same type of character that could do something like that and like walk off with a belt and do that same type of character. But
But it ain't been time yet.
no, it's not been 7 years, has it?
No.
But that is it for part 4.
That's it. Yeah, part 4 and
the whole
101. Yes.
101 is now in the books, ladies and gentlemen. But next week on episode 102, we have ringside news as always.
Always. No, please.
Always.
Let's not have a death this next time.
Yeah, I don't want 4 in a row. That ain't cool.
No,
Which I think there was
definitely
4
not.
celebrities in a row this time, which is really weird.
Which is 3 and it starts over.
Yes, but they were back to back because there was some singer that died right after Patton Oswalt's wife. There was some singer that passed
Another
away.
singer? Oh, good.
I didn't know who it was, but it was some singer that happened like the very next day.
Good gracious, I missed that one.
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
We got the Starrcade review.
Pay-per-view review in part
Probably
2.
4 more.
Yes. Plus, we put our Top Rope Reality draft to the test as we do pay-per-view redo. Not review, but redo.
Yes, that will be pretty interesting because we got a few things working in the works here.
Yes.
So we will see what goes
Yes,
on.
this television screen right here, this monitor is
Yes.
going to do great things for Top Rope Reality.
We're going to have the Hall of Fame. We'll be back. Should, might be, not at all.
And the booked in the 80s but didn't. Are we
Yeah.
still in the 80s or in the 90s?
The 90s are every other week. No, switching.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
see. I don't. That's why I don't do the lineup here, people.
Yes.
So we're going back to the 80s.
Going back to the 80s.
Going back
yeah.
to the 80s.
Yes.
Back to the future, if you will.
Yes.
Booked in the
Mr.
80s.
Salvage would love that.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Booked in the 80s, but didn't. As always, we have the storybook time and maybe a countdown. You never know. But we'll have
No.
plus a lot more. I mean, now with this television, now with this new studio we have here,
Studio. Yes.
studio, yes. You just never know what we're going to come up with
Never
next. I mean, it's literally endless possibilities. What we can do
Yes.
right here in the Top Rope Reality Studio.
It's- Well, I want to thank everybody for watching this week on 101, and we'll see you back here next week for 102. I'm Mike Hogan.
And I'm Justin Carter.
We'll see you next week.
There's no point in clicking. You got a point.
No point.